Hello, everybody. Long time no see. If you are catching us live tonight, I was just on not too long ago with my previous interview. Had a great time with that business owner, and now I have the pleasure of introducing you all to Tiffany Andes. And yes, she has the best name in the world, Tiffany. Just putting that out there. Before we get started, a few, reminders. Like I mentioned, I have my virtual live shopping event coming up this Saturday. Even if you are not interested in being a vendor, please, consider liking the page and following it to get alerted when we go live so that maybe you can knock out a bunch of your holiday shopping needs in one shot, all online with the vendor event. It's going to be really great. Kind of a shout out to QVC or Home Shopping Network kind of a thing, where I'm just going to be going from one business to the next, having them tell you all about what they got going on. So besides that, please, if you are stopping by live, if you are catching us on replay, if you are just sneaking in really quick to see what's going on, hit that like button, hit the share button, hit all the buttons except the nasty looking face. We don't like that one. We don't do that one here. We've got an amazing message with this business owner coming up that, very dear heart, and I am so excited to introduce you to her. So, like I mentioned, her name is Tiffany Andes, and she's with Indomitus Life Coaching. And I always like to start the show with a really simple question, but sometimes it trips people up. Who are you?
Thank you, Tiffany. My name is Tiffany, which is the best name ever. And currently I reside in Kansas City. I have my husband and my son. We reside here. And I started Indomitus Life Coaching to help veterans. Previously, before I was a life coach, I was a hospital chaplain. I worked in 2 veterans hospitals, one in Johnson City, Tennessee, and one in Lexington, Kentucky. I specialized in acute mental health and in PTSD and substance abuse. And so I got to see firsthand a lot of the cases that are basically inspiring to do my work right now. And that's essentially who I am, what inspires me to do the work that I do. And that's kind of what keeps me going.
Oh, wow. Okay. So my first MOS ever in the military was a chaplain assistant.
Really? Awesome. Very awesome.
This was just meant to be. Chaplain assistant. That would have been the most epic team ever, by the way. Chaplain and chaplain assistant Tiffany, boom, we would have killed it. But no, I love the message behind your business, and I'm so excited to dive into it a little bit more here. What I know, you said you got started because you yourself are a veteran. Thank you for your service. But what really drew you to this specific idea of helping veterans with PTSD or any kind of issues that have been impacting them as far as moving forward and building their lives up and whatnot?
So about 10 years ago, I had a drinking problem myself, and I had a substance abuse problem. So it's an issue that's very personal to me. I was able to overcome that. It took a lot of hard work. And so I realized the hurdles that it takes to get over something like that. And it takes a really deep, support network, and it takes good people in your life, and it takes a lot of grit to be able to get over something like that. And so I want to be able to help people who have these types of issues, to get over, not get over, but, overcome these hurdles in their lives. And like I said, I also worked with veterans when I was in the hospitals who were having these struggles themselves. And so it was very inspiring for me to do that work.
Wow. As I was telling you before we went live, I feel like there's always that stigma, no matter how hard we try to shake it, no matter how hard we try to, get rid of it and admit and try to, say that it doesn't exist, it's still there. As far as, no matter what it is, if people have if a soldier or a civilian even has PTSD, has had trouble, getting over a certain traumatic event, has resulted into being, a substance abuse or whatnot. Like, I just feel like this is not something that's typically addressed openly
Mhm.
in in this kind of format where we're here. She is here to help you.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there's always that, oh goodness, why are we talking about this? Let's
Mhm.
not bring this up. We don't need the negativity. But there's nothing more positive than bringing something like this to light, because it is really an epidemic in the military and slowly and as well as in the civilian world. But us, it's more personal for us because we've seen it firsthand in the military.
Right. And I just wanted to make a footnote here. Life coaching does not replace therapy. So
Yes.
when I was in the hospitals, we would work with the interdisciplinary teams, the social workers, the therapists. I always advocate for therapy because that is a specialization that really works well with life coaching. Like the two can complement each other completely well. And the difference really is therapy focuses on the past. So things that have happened like with your family history and everything that's gone on kind of in your past, whereas life coaching focuses on your future, setting goals for yourself and where you want to go given where you are now, setting those goals and seeing where you want to go.
Yeah, and that's a great point. Because as a chaplain assistant, I remember having to remind everybody we're the chaplain team, but that does not mean that we replace getting actual help from a doctor or talking to a psychiatrist or whatnot, whatever help you need. We're just kind of like the middle person to get you where you need to go, kind of. And I feel like that's exactly what you're trying to say, but you take it one step further where, like, okay, I'm taking you to where you're going to get help, but now I'm also going to help you extend off that help to build yourself a better future, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and chaplains really, they're your companions in the darkness, right? You walk
Yeah.
with someone through the shadow of, the valley of the shadow of death. And that's kind of what life coaches do. We're journeying with you on that journey through all of your difficulties. We're there every step of the way.
And how does life coaching work exactly? Like, I know you said you're about setting goals, about getting them focused on their future, but how exactly does it work per se? Do you set like a certain amount of appointments that you meet with each other to kind of figure stuff out, kind of like therapy in a way? Or is it just as like a case by case situation, how often you would meet or whatnot?
So I have a trauma reintegration program, and that's a 3-month program. And it's a lot of times, when you first start out, you're getting to know each other because it takes time to do that, right? And then there's an actual step-by-step program where you actually work through whatever traumas or issues that you've got going on. And we use a lot of like neuro-linguistic programming in certain cases, like reframing. We can use journaling. There's a lot of different types of programs that we can use because for the specific trauma issues that we're focusing on, it's a little bit different than, oh, I'm a dating coach or I'm a mindset coach or I'm something else. Because trauma affects the brain differently. It affects your amygdala, it affects your prefrontal cortex, it affects your hippocampus. It actually affects the way your brain is wired, right? And so we're focusing on how does trauma affect your brain? How can we learn the different techniques of dealing with trauma? And then how can we move forward given the state that you're in?
What are some of your favorite tidbits, pieces of advice, or like little things that people can do on a daily basis, even if it's just a simple like kids are stressing them out or whatever? What is something they can do on a daily basis to kind of help them regroup and and get back to where, okay, I know where I need to go. Let's go.
Yeah. So we always want to try and engage the parasympathetic nervous system. We want to focus on somatic techniques like breathing. Breathing is a big one. If you can get in touch with your body and what's going on, because like your brain is just going to run around like it's got a mad gerbil up there, right? It's on a wheel and it's just
Oh
spinning.
yes.
So if you can pause and engage your body. So that's breathing. That's saying the alphabet backwards. That's saying as many states as you can possibly remember. That's naming the things in the room that you can consciously see. Things like that.
Okay.
Sucking on an ice cube, believe it or not, will actually engage your body systems in ways that will calm you down, because you've got to say, oh, the ice cube is very cold.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to concentrate on sucking the ice cube and not choking on it. Right?
Oh, okay.
And it's a different temperature differential in your mouth. It's, you're thinking about all different things while you're sucking on the ice cube, so you're not freaking out about whatever it was that was stressing you out.
Wow. I never really thought of that. That threw me off a little bit, the ice cube.
Yeah.
But now that I think of it, it kind of makes sense. I have an aunt that loves to chew on ice, but I feel like it was more like a way that she was like relieving stress more than she just enjoyed eating ice. I just thought it was weird. But now I can kind of see where it might be what she just chose to do to just like relax herself for a minute in the moment. And that, wow. That's really cool. I mean, usually I hear the typical answers like exercise, going out for a nice run, or music is my favorite go-to to listen to music. I mean, I usually go all haywire and listen to like musicals and blast it all through the house while I'm cleaning, that kind of thing, and that just relieves stress like crazy. But these kind of things really do scare people to try and look for help. A lot of people, they know something's wrong with them. They feel like something is wrong, but they don't know how to put words to it or describe it or figure out what's wrong. Like kind of like postpartum depression kind of a deal, where like I struggled with it after having my second child, really bad, and I had no idea why I was struggling. It was a moment where like I was not functioning and I felt like I had no control over my body, but I had no idea why. And then finally a doctor was able to tell me what was up, and it just was just like, what? How is this affecting me in such a manner? I never had anything affect me like that before. So I could not even begin to comprehend what it would feel like for somebody who, was so distraught or so traumatized that it was driven to substance abuse, or to hurting themselves in some kind of way, cutting or those kind of things, and just not getting the help that they need, thinking that they're all alone and have nowhere to go, but they do. People like you, even if you're like the first step, so that you can show them how to find the doctors and everywhere else to kind of make your own little team there to help them on their journey to getting better, not so much being healed, but just getting better, right?
Mm-hmm. And I really advocate too for care in the VA hospitals. If they're not connected to the VA hospital, I'm a resource that will get you connected so that you can get care that you need.
Oh yes, absolutely. I love that you brought that up, because I feel like the VA hospital gets a really bad rap lately with people, with the news. Yes, there are bad things that happen everywhere in the world, but because they focus on the bad things that are happening in the VA hospital, it's not necessarily all bad. I've had really great experiences in VA hospitals on a personal level, and I know tons of friends that while I was on active duty never had a problem with VA hospitals. They are wonderful places for us, especially those of us that like me, I'm in the reserves. If I don't have health care, I have the VA hospital to fall on to kind of help me in that aspect, and that's a great resource for me and my family, and I know it's a great resource for so many others out there.
Yeah.
So how long did you say you were doing this?
So I went live with my business in August, and that was after I had done my certification and everything else. And so I've only been up and live for a couple of months.
Oh, but that's exciting. So you're brand new. I love it. Yay. Brand new business. I love it. So you weren't technically in affected by COVID because you were post shutdown, sort of. Like we were starting to open back up. We were still kind of locked down, but starting to open up in some areas and whatnot.
Mhm.
But what kind of challenges did COVID bring to your business during the time when you were trying to start it up in the middle of it?
So COVID limits my ability to do face-to-face coaching, even though I would offer to do some face-to-face coaching if somebody didn't have like computer resources or phone resources. But COVID has kind of pushed me to doing all like telehealth kind of stuff. So I prefer to meet by Zoom, I prefer to meet by phone, or I can even do email coaching. And that's kind of like the bulk of how I do my coaching.
Oh, wow. Okay. So if somebody did want to set up an appointment with you, I know you said you prefer Zoom and whatnot. How long do typical sessions last? Does that depend on what the situation is, or does it kind of fluctuate?
A typical session usually lasts an hour.
Oh, okay.
That's just like to get all the information, to get comfortable with somebody, to have that, rapport built and everything else. That's usually an hour.
Do you feel like you're having a little harder of a time getting that kind of rapport and whatnot because you're talking through a computer versus in front of each other?
Um, no, not necessarily. I mean, if everybody's kind of like open to really, invest in the process, computer-based, talking like we're talking right now, I feel like, we're building rapport.
Well, that's just because we have the same name.
Yeah, that's true.
We're spirit sisters. That's all to
Right,
say.
right.
Oh my goodness. No, okay. I I'm telling you, when I learned about your business and you reached out to me to be featured on the show, one, I was so excited because you're outside of PA. So you're another business that I can say I have traveled outside of PA over the internet to highlight a business out of state. So I got to
Mhm,
get me a map so that I can put it behind on my wall so I can mark when I hit different states. It's so exciting.
mhm,
And two, because you're a vet yourself, I always am impartial to highlighting vets with businesses. I love that it's a brand new business for you and having the opportunity, sharing this opportunity with you to, highlight it, bring it to light, let people know it exists. I mean,
mhm,
it means a whole lot to me to have your trust to do that, and have a part in that. And I love the message that you have, that you want to just help vets in every which way possible that you can. Because, like I said, that stigma it's heavy on all of us,
mhm,
whether we're still in the military or we're out, even if we've gotten the help that we thought we needed. The stigma still sits there in the back of your mind where you just feel like you have to be careful who you tell that you're getting help and whatnot. And something like this, a life coach helping you through this process and focusing on your future and building that future for you, you no longer tend to focus on what people are thinking anymore because you're more worried about where you're going.
right.
And I feel like that's just so powerful and something that, um, is absolutely part of the healing process. I feel like people think they just need to go to counseling and
Mhm,
then it stops there. But I definitely can see how your business is absolutely the next part of that healing process and as important.
mhm. It's good to have a cheerleader in your corner,
Oh,
someone
yeah.
who's rooting for your success, who's just as excited when you meet goals and everything else. Like it's really important.
Yes, yes. I feel like I absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. I definitely can admit to that. It's one thing for me to be excited, but if somebody I go to all excited saying something and they're just not excited about it as I am, I'm like, all right, well, you just killed my vibe. I don't want to be excited about it anymore. But having somebody like you in their corner, pushing them to keep going, being just as excited and proud of them as they are themselves, that it may be something they never experienced before in their life. With the way they were brought up, with the military, they may not have had, the greatest leadership, because let's face it, that's not always the case in the military.
Right.
And it happens more often than we would like it to happen. But there are some amazing leaders out there. Do not get me wrong. I've had some pretty amazing leaders in the military, and I'm forever grateful for them. But yeah, there's definitely those onesie twosies that will, make life seem a little harder for that person just because, they're not willing to accept what's going on with the person or whatnot, or let them get the help they need. And that all comes back to the stigma, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, do you give like any kind of trainings, or do you plan on doing like any like speaking events of some kind to kind of like educate people on what it is you actually do and how it benefits people?
I would love to if I could find, speaking opportunities in the Kansas City area, or even like online kind of opportunities. I would love that. I haven't found any yet, but
Okay.
yeah, if the opportunity presents itself, I would totally do that.
Well, there's an idea for your business. You're welcome. No.
Okay.
You could literally set up a live event yourself and just have a live event every so often where you're introducing yourself and broadcasting why it is that people need to embrace life coaching. I'm not gonna lie. When I hear life coaching, I think of a cheerleader, somebody who's just gonna egg me on with my goals and whatnot, but maybe they're just trying to keep me happy so that they can keep me as a client, kind of a thing. But I don't feel that when I talk to you. Like, I feel your sincerity with this business of yours, the way that you put your heart and soul into this, and you are 100% there for your clients. I mean, I am so overwhelmed right now with how I don't know, it's just proud I am of this business. I'm so happy for you. Like, I'm sorry. You're leaving me speechless. And you're not supposed to. I'm the host. No, but in all sincerity, it's probably because I'm a vet, and it's just touching my heart, and a little tougher than most people out there. But I am so grateful that, you took it upon yourself to build this business to benefit the veterans, and be an outreach for them in a world where a lot of them feel like they have nowhere to go, and that's just extremely powerful. I don't know how else to explain it, but just extremely powerful. So congratulations on your business. I This is exciting because you're brand new. So I always tell people, oh, I'll catch up with you in a year or so and see how things are going. I cannot wait to hear how things are going at your 1 year anniversary. Because when I check in, that's exactly what I'm going to be looking for, how things are going, what things have been changing. Maybe you do implement the little speaking events and whatnot, because, I feel like that would just be astronomical, because there's the telling people what you do, but educating them on what you do. Oof. I feel like that is definitely something that's needed in this world. So I am forever grateful to you and your business. Thank you for building this business, and coming up with the idea. If you are just chiming in, you missed out on meeting Miss Tiffany here. Not me. My guest is actually named Tiffany. She has an amazing business called Indomitus Life Coaching, geared towards veterans, people suffering from PTSD, substance abuse, all kinds of ailments, to try and help them focus on building their lives and moving forward, and making goals and meeting those goals, and focusing on their future to help towards the process of healing. And it's just a great idea. So thank you so much for taking the time to stop by here, be live with me. Take the time to explain your business, what it is you do. I Like I said, I do not take it lightly. I take it with a lot of pride that you trusted me to be a way of spreading the word about your business. And thank you. I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Tiffany. I really appreciate you taking the time to let me be on your show. It was really great.
And like I said, I am here every Monday from 1 p.m. and 6 p.m. I am highlighting a brand new business each week at those times. If you know anybody from anywhere in the 50 states that would like to be featured, please do not hesitate to send them my way. I would love to have the opportunity to highlight businesses as new as Tiffany's life coaching business, and as old as somebody whose generations passed down or whatnot. Small businesses need to be emphasized, and I am so honored to be a part of that journey to help small businesses get out there and let the world know they exist. So with that, I will leave you all for the evening. Thank you again, Tiffany, for being here with me tonight. I really hope you had a great time, and I will catch you guys next week.